Support for Consider This is provided by the University of Nebraska at Omaha College of Communication, Fine Arts, and Media.
Consider This, a program of issues and information behind today's news.
We're standing here actually in the club lounge. There's 750 club seats. And as you view, I think there's about 3,500 seats in the lower bowl and an additional 3,500 seats in the upper bowl. The student section is down here on the end. You'll notice that none of those are chair backs. Those are actually bleachers, and we've done that on purpose. We've seen student crowds that they're all packed in and loud. We don't want them sitting down. We want them standing. And we've increased the capacity there to 820. Here's one of our suites, Suite 11. This is the Tanaska Suite. Regent Howard Hawks and his wife Rhonda. I don't think they'll mind if we walk in and
this is nice.
And show you. But so yeah, it's a great space, and you know, the typical amenities that you would think of in a suite. There are 16 fixed chairs here, 4 chairs here, 12 and 4 with 20 total tickets per suite.
Trev, we're now down on the bench where the UNO hockey team will sit, but there's only one bench on this side.
A little bit different for us. It's all within the rules, but the opposing team actually is on the other side of the ice, and there's some home ice advantage to that in the sense that the penalty box is on our side, so if we have a young man coming off a penalty, he can skate over quickly and make change. The opposing team, however, if there's a penalty, obviously he has to skate all the way across before they can make a change.
And there you have it. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt. Welcome to this week's edition of Consider This. Our topic, UNO's Baxter Arena. Joining us to talk more about it is Mike Sierra, Associate Athletic Director and General Manager. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Exciting stuff. Now, before we talk about the arena, I want to talk a little bit about you, because you're relatively new to this state, right?
That's correct, Kathy. I moved here about a year and a half ago to take over the project for the athletics department at UNO, and have been settling in ever since, and obviously overseeing the final aspects of operational design, construction, and getting the facility ready to open.
Yeah, you have a little bit of experience in this arena, right, Mike? So talk to us a little bit about your professional background.
I've been in the arena business, venue management business, for about 20 years now, managing about 5 arenas now, as well as 1 stadium. So I've been involved in many different facilities and the opening of many different facilities. So this one was unique to me. It was the first time that I've been a part of a university facility. All of the other facilities I've either managed or been a part of the management team of have all been civic owned or municipality owned, and worked for a private management company for a long time, almost 20 years prior to coming here. So it was a unique but a very exciting experience for myself and my family.
Okay, so I have to ask, what do you think about UNO?
Oh, I love it. I love it. The leadership here has been very supportive of the project, and obviously Trev Alberts has been very supportive of me, and that always makes it a little bit easier. The campus atmosphere is amazing. UNO is growing, and it's fun to watch, and it's fun to be a part of. Wow.
Okay, so tell us about, this is a loaded question, Mike, I'll apologize in advance, but a day in your life right now as general manager of this new place.
Well, it's very busy. Very busy. Obviously, it's multifaceted. I oversee all of the different facets of the facility, from operations to the financial aspects, contractual aspects of events, planning, marketing, making sure our suite holders are getting their the proper service they deserve, making sure our tickets are sold and our box office is open, and overseeing the merchandising aspects of the team store. So very multifaceted. I spend a great deal of time interacting with our teams and our athletic department in making sure we're set up properly for every athletics event, and also a great deal of time meeting with community event organizers, as well as on the phone with promoters and agents who may be looking to bring national or regional acts to our area and potentially secure a date at Baxter Arena. So very different from 1 hour to the next. It can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but staying organized and staying focused on what we need to get done for that day is my primary focus.
Yeah, you say we because you're not just a staff of one, thank
That's
goodness.
correct.
Tell us a little bit about the staffing situation.
Well, we have about 15 full-time staff members dedicated to the arena outside of our food service and cleaning operations, which both have a staff of about 4 or 5 full-time. So, and then we have about 100 to 150 part-time employees that come in, ushers, ticket takers, event staff, that help us on a event-by-event basis, set up and get ready, and then obviously greet our guests and provide for our guests as they're at the facility.
Wow. Okay, so for those folks who have not been to the new Baxter Arena, we're going to go ahead and put up a rendering, and we just like you to kind of give us the lay of the land there in terms of the setup and its location and so forth.
Sure. As you referenced earlier, it's the main focus, currently is the main focus of our Center Street campus. So we sit with our what we call the front of the building facing towards Exarban Village. And right front and center in our facility is the community ice sheet. And that was very important to our leadership group to obviously showcase, and I'll talk a little bit about this a little bit later, but to showcase the community involvement in the project. Behind that, you'll see we have our main sheet of ice. Both our community sheet of ice and our main sheet of ice are 200 by 85, which is an NHL sheet of ice, regulation sheet of ice. And that was done to accommodate our team and make sure our team is practicing on the same sheet of ice that they're playing their games on. And then as you'll see, we have our lower level that has at the far end our student section, which as Trev mentioned, doesn't have chair backs to encourage them to stand. And then as we go up, you'll see we have our suite level and our press level on one side, and our upper level makes a horseshoe on the other side. What I like about the facility and what's unique about our facility is it is a 2-tier design. So we have a lower level and an upper level that overhangs the lower level. This brought every seat on top of the action. So there isn't a bad seat in the house. I really like that design in the facility. We're a 1 concourse but a 2-tier facility. A lot of venues our size will just have the 1 tier, smaller tier with the concourse at the top. And sometimes the seats, because of the grade of the facility, the seats get a little farther out. So putting it on top, kind of sandwiching on top, second level, certainly brought every seat on top of the action. So,
now this is an exterior shot, and you pointed something out to me which I think is very interesting. If you could point that out to our viewers as you're talking about that.
Well, the eave or the overhang over the entrance there, the club suite entrance there, you'll see it makes a hockey stick design. Throughout the facility, you'll see curves such as that, the hockey stick design, in some of the window features, and certainly over both set of main entrances that we have. The other thing to note here is the amount of windows that are in the front of the facility, really providing that transparency, as I talked earlier, that the leadership group wanted to portray to the community, as this is a community engagement arena and the community's involvement in the arena.
Wow. All right. So months, weeks, days leading up to the opening. Probably not stressed at all, were you, Mike? Or talk about just that time frame and the excitement and all of that was being generated as people were anticipating that opening.
Well, I think you touched upon it there. It was certainly mixed emotions. There was a lot of excitement leading up to it. The last 6 months have just been a lot of exciting things happening within the facility, to see the final touches come into the facility. But at the same time, there was a lot of stress involved with making sure we get everything we need into the facility. I used to joke, or have joked in the past, that coming off of Center Street from 72nd Street, when I came down the hill, I always had two reactions in the morning coming to work. One of a lot of excitement because I'd see the facility and something new on the exterior of the facility. And then the second is, oh boy, I have to get this done today, this done today, this done today. It certainly mixed emotions over the past 6 months. But, we were able to really bear down and really work hard over the past 6 months. The entire university, the athletic department pitched in and came together, and certainly able to get everything we needed into the facility for an exciting opening.
Okay, snags. This is a big project, right? So you were talking about the stress, but also the excitement. I would imagine you came into work a few different times and somebody said this isn't going exactly the way that it should be going. What were some of the major hurdles?
Well, you can always be as proactive as you can, and I think we were, but as you mentioned, sometimes you have to be pretty reactive. We knew going into this that the first few events, parking was going to be a little bit of a challenge, because anytime you open a new facility or even a dormitory or anything else on campus, for the first few times that our patrons show up, they're not always sure where to go. And so we kind of knew that, anticipated it, but you can only anticipate it so much. And so I think that was one of our bigger lessons learned, that we've adjusted, and as our patrons see the parking and are familiarize themselves with the facility, that'll take care of itself. That was one of the big snags. I think getting the facility completed. We had 99% of it completed on time. It was just those finishing touches that you like to see. But working with our contractor and our architect, we were able to get everything done that we needed in a timely fashion. But certainly running up against some opening event time frames was a little challenging.
I'm glad you mentioned the parking, because those of us who've been involved with UNO for quite some time, parking is generally a challenge, but something that we can get through. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I'm sure our viewers are wondering about the parking. So for someone who's coming for the first time, do you have any advice in terms of maybe where they might steer clear, but maybe some places that would be good for them to go? Because of course first impressions are everything, and we want people visiting to feel like they're very welcome here. So what advice would you give for first timers?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. Great point. First timers, I'd say avoid Center Street. So Center Street and 67th, the intersection there, I like to dub it Spirit World. Everyone seems to know Spirit World sits on the corner there. But if they can avoid that intersection, that certainly will help get the traffic in a little bit quicker. Fortunately for us, we have many points of ingress and egress. A lot of people aren't familiar that 67th Street now goes all the way through to Grover. You can picture that right up in front of the dome. And so it runs out to Grover. Spring Street also connects with 67th Street there at the dome. So that is a pretty good entrance to use for ingress and egress. And then Mercy Street also connects with 68th Street, which comes underneath Center Street and connects up with 67th Street. So Mercy Road off of 72nd Street would also be a viable option. And I think as our patrons come to the facility and see those two as alternatives, then they can avoid Center Street altogether.
Okay, well, and obviously fans found their way to Baxter Arena on October 23rd.
Correct.
First big game. We're going to show some highlights here. As you just kind of tell us, for those of us who weren't there, what it was like really to welcome folks in and be a part of something so big here at UNO.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was a lot of fun. We had planned and planned and planned, and I can tell you it went off without a hitch. It was fun to be a part of it. It was fun to see the student excitement surrounding it, the student athletes excitement surrounding it. It was just a lot of fun. We started handing out student tickets. As we mentioned, there's the student section, and we started handing out student tickets at 2 o'clock on that Friday, the 23rd. We had 750 student tickets to hand out. By 2:19, we were out of student tickets. So that just tells you the level of excitement that was there. And to watch that and to be a part of that, for me, was very gratifying, very, very exciting point in my life. And when we did the opening ceremonies and watched Don Leahy go out on the ice and some of the past players, it was just really exciting.
Wow, and one of the things you've referenced a little bit here, but I want to talk just from your vantage point about the players, because I just can't imagine how they must be feeling so proud, to have this place that they're calling their own, right?
Yes.
So you're behind the scenes enough there. Talk to us a little bit about the feedback, that you've been receiving from those players.
Oh, it's been nothing short of very, very exciting for them to be a part of this, to have their own space. The hockey team is fully housed there, and so talking to some of the hockey players, there are a lot of thank yous that go around, and interacting with the players is pretty exciting, and they were very excited about the space they have. Of course, there's always little touch-ups here or there that we realize after that, hey, maybe coach wants it this way or coach wants it that way. That you always go through, and so, but it's been really exciting to see them take ownership of that space and excited every day when they come in.
Yeah, and I would imagine as you have more and more games, any glitches that were there are going to be worked through, right? So you continue to hear positive things. Once hockey kind of goes through, what are some of the other sporting events that we're going to be able to find there at Baxter Arena?
Well, we've already played women's basketball, and we have men's and women's home openers yet to come, and we've already played one of our volleyball games. So currently, as we sit right now, all of our teams are undefeated in the facility. So
congratulations.
That's a nice thing to have. But we'll see men's and women's basketball. We'll see one more women's volleyball game this season, but obviously a full slate of games next season. So pretty excited about those sports.
Wow, and again, something that folks may not realize, yes, it's all about the sports, right? But it's all about community too.
Sure.
And in fact, sports, that wasn't the first event held there. There were a few events prior to that game on October 23rd. We have highlights from the coronation, but talk to us about a few of the other things that took place there before we even saw hockey.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We started October 4th with the Susan G. Komen race. Actually, let me back up. We started even before then with a student event called the UNO Flush Off, where we had over 400 students come in and help us flush the toilet, every toilet and every sink, and to gauge the water pressure. And it was pretty exciting because we handed out T-shirts and there were a few prizes given out, like an annual supply of toilet paper. So we had asked for about 400 students to volunteer for that, and our student activities department had over 600 applicants. So it was fun. So we started with that September 29th, and then October 4th we had the Susan G. Komen race for the Cure in the facility, which was a really neat event to be able to host. And they started in the facility and then finished over in Exarban Village. And then we had the Exarban Coronation Ball, as you mentioned, which was pretty neat. Used both the community ice sheet and the main sheet of ice, and yeah, it turned out to be a great event this year. And then we got into hockey after that.
You know, Mike, I think that we'll have viewers watching going, wow, we can host events there. That would be so cool. So talk to us a little bit about logistics in terms of what people should do if they're interested. And I know that somewhere I read that graduations, high school
Yes.
graduations are also going to be taking place there. So
Yes.
popular, popular spot. What do folks do in terms of the steps they take to try to get in there?
Well, first step is to contact us, and as we've discussed, they can reach us through the Baxter Arena website, or we have an information line as well that they can call, and we can sit down and talk logistics with each group that wants to come in. Our event services department we'll meet with that particular group and go over all of the planning of their event and what it entails, and what they need from us to for proper presentation of their event. Some of the logistics may include what stage size do you need, what kind of curtaining do you want, how many chairs do you need, those type items that our event services department will work with them on all of those details, and then disseminate that information to the rest of the departments in the facility, ticketing, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So, but reaching out to us through our website, baxterarena.com, or our information line, we can then plan their visit, have them on a tour, and then sit down and really start talking about the logistics.
Wow, and all of this, you know, you have your sports, you have your community, to help cover the cost. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the price tag in this interview, $81.6 million. Sure. And so, especially for folks who haven't seen it yet, and even for folks who have, explain, try to walk us through a price tag as large as that one.
Well, obviously there's a lot of construction. It's a 200,000 square foot facility, so certainly a larger facility. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to happen around the facility in terms of roadways, parking lots that we had already mentioned. And then a lot of technology goes into a facility like this. We also did a lot of forward thinking on, what do we need, not today, but how do we set this up for what we need 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and what can we put in place now, and let's analyze the cost of that now. Is it more cost effective to do it now or do it 5 years from now? So all of that goes into the thinking of the cost of the facility, and then when you break it down, there's a lot of construction costs involved, a lot of technology in the facility, all factor into that cost.
I think a good follow-up question here, Mike, would be, in addition to some of the things we've already talked about, what are the benefits of having this arena now open on UNO's campus?
The benefits are both tangible and intangible. Obviously, it's a great recruiting tool for us as a campus. As you mentioned earlier, hosting almost every local high school commencement in the facility will be a great recruiting tool for us. Obviously, our student athletes benefit, again, as a recruiting aspect, to be able to show off the facility and be able to attract those top tier athletes. It allows us as a campus, one of our focuses is community engagement, and this allows us that opportunity to engage the community and have them utilize the facility. As we talked about earlier, the community ice sheet was put front and center in the facility for that very purpose, and there was a commitment made that the community would utilize that ice sheet at least 33% of the time. So there are a lot of benefits to us having it open now.
Yeah, and I want to bring that full circle, the community
Sure.
ice sheet, because there really was a deliberate reason for putting those two sheets of ice the way that you did do it. And tell us a little bit more about when folks have access to that, what it's being used for, other than practice in the meantime. Sure. So that's a great excuse, right, for people to come in who might not be sports fans, they want to bring their family and they want to go
Absolutely.
do something. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure, and as you mentioned, the community ice sheet sits front and center of the facility and is very transparent to the outside through the windows we have. And that was a focus of the leadership group to highlight the community engagement. And the leadership group of the university committed to the community that they'd have at least 33% of the time have access to that facility. I can tell you we've well surpassed that. We're probably up in the 60 to 70% range right now. So we're utilizing it through figure skating clubs in the area. We have a youth hockey program in the facility. We have a curling club that's utilizing the facility as well right now. From a university standpoint, it gives us the opportunity to host intramural sports and campus recreation activities, as well as potentially physical education classes, maybe a learn to skate class or a learn to play hockey class or a learn to curl class. So a lot of benefits there.
Wow, and you talked earlier about thinking ahead 5, 10, 15 years. So as we go down that stretch in the minutes that we have remaining, what's your vision here? Obviously, it's a new building. People are very excited. They want to see it. They want to be a part of it. How are you going to keep that momentum going then?
Well, I think it's obviously it's continuing to win at sports. Always certainly
That's a plus, yes.
But continuing to improve on the facility in any way we can. And as I mentioned, we were very proactive in thinking about 5 or 10 or 15 years and putting those what we think are going to be the improvements in place now, so that when they come to light 5 years or 10 years from now, we're ready to make that change or that improvement to the facility. So continuing to maintain the facility in an appropriate manner will provide us the opportunity to make those changes and those improvements when we need to, or when we feel it's the right time to do so down the road.
Okay, so we have about 30 seconds remaining, Mike. Final thoughts, something you want to get in there that you've just been wanting to say but just haven't been given the opportunity.
Well, I would just say, for those that haven't been in the facility yet, please come and see us for either an athletic event. We have a few other events coming up here in the near future, so please come down and see us and see the facility.
Okay, awesome. And for those folks who can't get out right away, we do have a website
Sure.
that we want to put up for the viewers, so that if they're curious and they want to learn more, they're welcome to do that. So it is University of Nebraska, Omaha's Baxter Arena, right? So unomaha.edu/athletics/arena, and that'll take you or show you baxterarena.com. Mike, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations. It's been a long time in coming. So
thank you
best
very
wishes
much.
to you and everybody associated with it moving forward.
Thank you for the time.
You bet. And thank you all for watching. We will see you next week.
Consider This is an issues and information program produced by UNO Television. More information can be found at unotv.unomaha.edu. If you'd like to share your comments about this show, call UNO TV at 402-554-2516 during regular business hours, or email us at considerthis@tvmail.unomaha.edu.